Namaste. I'm Samta Aunty, the founder and CEO of Virtual Preschool, where children learn Hindi through English. Today we're going to talk about two important words in Hindi that are often confused, hoon and hain. We'll talk about what they mean, how they're used, and how to make sure you use the right one. So let's get started. First, where do we see these words in Hindi? We see them at the end of a sentence. In Hindi, we see them at the end of a sentence. For instance, if I want to say, I am Samta, मैं समता हूँ. Or if I want to say, my name is Samta, मेरा नाम समता है. So do you see how they're at the end of a sentence? And these are verbs. You know what a verb is, right? Verbs are action words. But actually, not all verbs are action words. There are some verbs that are called state of being verbs. State of being verbs. What does that mean? A state of being verb describes a person, place, a thing, or an animal. Let me say that again. A state of being verb describes a person, a place, a thing, or an animal. So they're not necessarily directly action words, but they describe something. And again, they are verbs to describe something. For example, he is good at karate. So is the verb. That's a state of being verb. And the word is describing this guy who's good at karate. They are happy whales. So the state of being verb is are, and it's describing them as happy. I am a colorful unicorn. Am is a state of being verb and is describing the colorful unicorn. So see how the verbs is, are, and am are not necessarily physical. You're not necessarily doing something or moving your body, but they describe a person, a thing, or an animal. In English, the state of being verbs are am, is, and are. I am a unicorn. He is good at karate. They are happy whales. So let's look at some examples of these. I am 6 years old. What's the state of being verb in this sentence? It's am, right? What about in this sentence? The tiger is hungry. What's the state of being verb? It's is. They are good swimmers. Again, what's the state of being verb? Are. The carnival is fun. The state of being verb is? Is. In Hindi, the state of being verbs are hoon and hain. Again, they are hoon and hain. When do we use hoon and when do we use hain? Well, use hoon when you're describing yourself in the present while doing something. Let me say that again. Use hoon when you're describing yourself in the present while doing something. So for instance, मैं बढ़िया हूँ. मैं बढ़िया हूँ. I am feeling great. So what am I doing? I'm feeling something. I am feeling great. मैं बढ़िया हूँ. So what about है? We use है to describe others. We use है to describe others, anyone other than yourself. Any place, person, thing, or animal other than yourself. Like, वो बढ़िया है. वो बढ़िया है. He is great. He is great. So I just did मैं बढ़िया हूँ. I am great. But then if I change it to वो बढ़िया है, that means he is great. Now, there's a second use case for the word है. You can also use the word है to describe yourself when you are not moving something, when you are not moving. When you yourself are not moving. So for instance, I can say, I like ice cream. मुझे आइसक्रीम पसंद है. So in that case, I'm describing myself. मुझे is I. मुझे आइसक्रीम पसंद है. I like ice cream. But if I like something, am I moving my body? Am I doing something physical with my body? No, I'm not. So that's why, and even though I'm describing myself, I don't use the word हूँ, I use the word है. मुझे आइसक्रीम पसंद है. मैं समता हूँ. मैं बढ़िया हूँ. All right? Who means am. Who means am, like I am samta. मैं समता हूँ. I am samta. Who means am. है has two meanings. It means is and are. Like he is great. वो बढ़िया हैं. They are great. वे बढ़िया हैं. Now again, where do we use these words? At the end of a sentence in Hindi. So unlike English, in Hindi, our verb comes at the end of the sentence. So in English, the sentence structure is a little bit different. In English, we have subject, verb, object. But in Hindi, we have subject, object, and then verb. So when do we use whom and when do you use hai? I want to test to see if you remember. If you don't remember, rewind and watch the video again. So let's do some examples now. Let's do some examples now and say out loud if this would be a whom sentence or a han sentence. I am 6 years old. Would this be a whom sentence or a han sentence? If you said whom, very good. मैं 6 साल की हूँ. Or for a boy, मैं 6 साल का हूँ. It ends with a whom. What about the tiger is hungry? The tiger is hungry. Is this a whom or a hai sentence? It's a hai sentence. Baag bhukha hai. Baag bhukha hai. The tiger is hungry. What about this one? They are good swimmers. They are good swimmers. वे अच्छे तारके हैं. वे अच्छे तारके हैं. It's a has sentence because you're describing others, not yourself. I live in San Francisco. Is this a whom sentence or a has sentence? It's a who sentence because I'm describing myself. मैं San Francisco में रहती हूँ. Or for a boy, मैं San Francisco में रहता हूँ. So, great work with this. Now you know how to use whom versus hai, and this will really help you speak better Hindi. Dhanyavad for joining me. I'll see you in class.